Hi guys, today we are going to talk about spring. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm Felicia from Sweet Georgia, and this is Taking Back Friday. This is a place where we come every Friday. We talk about yarn and color, knitting and spinning and weaving and dyeing and all the fiber arts. And this week is a special week because this week is our launch week for spring. So basically our new spring collection has arrived and it just launched this past Tuesday. So in our spring collection, we have 10 new knitwear designs and we're working with a whole bunch of designers that you might already be familiar with. But we're really excited to be able to share these projects with you. So today what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you the projects, but I also wanted to tell you about the different colors and the different yarns that we have available now, and some special things that you may not have ever seen before. You might be familiar with it, but this is the frosted lace shawl that we produced in January of this year. And so this frosted lace shawl has been written, this pattern has been written so that you could use a party of five mini skeins, and you could put those together to make a shawl. This kit, however, is slightly different. This uses one skein of this lollipop colorway, this pinky color, and then there's also this other colorway, this variegated hand-painted colorway in between. That one's called Night Mist, and that is a half skein of Tough Love Sock, and this is exclusive, and you can only get it from yarn shops that carry this kit. It's not available on our website, it's not available from anywhere else, only available from the yarn shops that carry Sweet Georgia. So if the store in your area doesn't carry Sweet Georgia, please talk to them and ask them to. And if your shop does carry Sweet Georgia but doesn't have this kit, just ask them and then they can place an order for you. So that's something that we've been really excited to share with you guys as well. Now let's talk about colors. So for spring, we've come out with 9 new colorways, and some of these colors are all light and on the airier side, brighter side. They're not super saturated and they're not pastel, but they feel very light and airy. And in a lot of cases, they will all mix and blend together really well. You can put them in nice color combinations together as well. But one of the things that we've done is also taken this opportunity to take splashy colorways that we've done in the past, like rainbow sprinkles and like mango ice, and to make lighter versions of those. So like one of my favorite colors is this rainbow sprinkles color, but I wanted to use it in my Zweig sweater and it was just a little bit too much. It was a little bit too splashy. And so I had Charlotte make me this half strength version, quarter strength version of rainbow sprinkles, and we call it Bubble Wand now. And so Bubble Wand is the color that I used in my Zweig sweater. And it's just like a tiny little bit of color smattering throughout it, but not enough to distract from the actual lace pattern that's happening there. And so I think that, using the rainbow sprinkles together with Bubble Wand, you can make kind of like a little bit of a splashy gradation that could happen. But we've done the same thing with the mango ice. I love mango ice. It's a kind of like a splashy yellow color, but it might be a little bit too jarring for some people. And so we made a lighter version of that, and that's called Baby Duck. And we've used it in a couple of patterns. There's one of the sweaters in our collection that is made in Baby Duck as well. So these 9 colors that are part of our seasonal spring collection, these are colors that are going to only be available until next spring. And next spring we'll come out with another sort of seasonal capsule collection of colorways. There's going to be another fall collection coming out in the summer, and the fall colors we already know they're pretty awesome. I'm really excited about fall, actually. Fall, I really love fall colorways, and so that is coming out later this year, but right now we're just doing spring. And so when this color collection goes for a year, then next year there'll be another spring collection. Currently there's a fall collection going on, and then around August we're going to release the new fall colors, and then the old fall colors will disappear. The other thing about spring is that we have come out with a new yarn this spring. So a couple of years ago we introduced a yarn called Flax and Silk Fine, and Flax and Silk Fine is a fingering weight linen and silk blend yarn. And this yarn became quite popular in a lot of areas where it's quite warm, or people don't want to wear wool, people don't want to wear a heavy sweater. So warmer areas that need something that's a little bit lighter and airier. So silk and linen is a wonderful blend for that. So we made that in fingering weight, and that has gone really, really nicely. And so what we wanted to do was we wanted to bring it in a slightly different weight. So we brought it in as a DK weight. This is a heavy DK, almost worsted weight. So you could absolutely knit it at a worsted weight and get a nice fabric. So flaxen silk DK is a great yarn for using for garments, for fuller garments, for accessories that knit up faster than if you're going to knit with a fingering weight yarn. So you'll see that in a couple of the pieces that are coming up in the collection. Now let's talk about the patterns. So this spring collection, Tabitha has coordinated 10 beautiful patterns. There are shawls in there, there's accessories in there, and there are garments, there's sweaters. And she's worked with a number of very, very good designers to bring all these pieces together. As you guys all know, all of our designs are tech edited multiple times. They are sample knit, and any questions that you might have about our knitwear designs, you can absolutely email Tabitha. Her email is at tabitha@sweetgeorgiayarns.com. Please don't hesitate to give us an email, and we can absolutely help you out with that. So the first pattern that we have is one that's called Cabana. Cabana is actually quite a huge shawl project. You can see it is humongous. So it is quite a big shawl pattern. And so this one is knit out of superwash DK. This has got 4 skeins of the birch, superwash DK, and 1 skein of sapphire. And you can see it's got mostly stockinette. You know, it's an asymmetrical shawl starting off in this little corner and then extending, and then there it goes into some very simple lace. This is kind of like a mesh lace here, very, very simple. And near the bottom here is just a very small section of mosaic knitting. So hopefully you guys have seen on YouTube, I've created a mosaic tutorial, and mosaic knitting is very, very simple. And it's a wonderful way to use multiple colors and mix colors together and get almost like a color work appearance, but there's no color work involved. So you're not holding 2 yarns at the same time. You're holding 2 colors at the same time. With mosaic knitting, you're only working with 1 color at a time, making it very, very, very simple to work. So this shawl happens to be designed by Cheryl Toy. Cheryl Toy is a great designer that we have worked with for several collections now. And this is a beautiful shawl that you can just wrap yourself up in. It's humongous, and it finishes with a cute little tassel here. The next project we have here is one that's called Mill Sweet. This is actually one of my favorites. Again, like I was saying, this is knit in the flaxen silk fine, and it is this cute little tank top. And this one's designed by Sandy Rosner, and the smallest size takes 2 skeins of this fingering weight yarn. And it's just very, very simple to knit because it's only textures. It's just the top here is a little bit of garter stitch, a little bit of reverse stockinette. There's some texture stitches from some knits and pearls, and then the rest of it is basically stockinette and a little panels of seed stitch. So it's very, very simple. Lovely, light, airy. This is something that you could toss on and then put something over top if you like. But when it starts to get warmer, this is going to be a piece that's going to be super cute. Now this piece is actually one of my favorites. This one is actually designed by Tabitha, and it is called Radiative. And I wish that you guys could feel this, but this is 2 strands of cash silk lace held together. So it's been held double to make it slightly thicker, but it is so soft and so squishy, and it is just a very, very simple lace scarf. So again, this one is knit on the diagonal. So you start in one corner and you're knitting a garter to make this diagonal panel. And then once you get there, then you start to knit lace. And so you're increasing on one side and decreasing on the other side in order to produce this diagonal effect. But it's just very lovely, very simple. And it kind of produces this sort of leaf lace. So this entire scarf only takes 1 skein of cash silk lace. So basically all you need to do is take 1 skein of cash silk lace, wind it into a center pull ball. Then you take the yarn coming from the middle of the ball and the yarn coming from the outside of the ball, and you hold them together. as you knit this. So it's beautiful. I love it. It's so squishy. And this is my favorite color. This is the pineapple colorway. I really do love this color. Okay, this is another one of my favorite projects. I actually really love a lot of the pieces that are in this collection. This one is also designed by Tabitha. It's an asymmetrical shawl. So this is another one of those asymmetrical shawls where you start in the corner. And so you start at this corner with the birch colorway and you continue on and increase, and it becomes an asymmetrical shape, this big triangle shape. You add on the next color, the next color, the next color, and the next color. This one happens to be knit from a party of 5. This is a new party of 5 that we're making for spring, and it's called Seashore. I do love this colorway. It's very light and airy. It feels very vacation-y. I love it. Okay, and now here is a top that is knit sideways. This one is also designed by Sandy Rosner, and this is the one that is knit in the flax and silk DK. So let me see if I can show you the texture a little bit more up close. So you can see that this one is knit sideways, and it's got a little bit of chevron patterning happening at the sleeves, and then it produces a boat neck up here. So that is the piece that is called Villafranca, designed by Sandy Rosner. This one is made from, this color is that baby duck color that I was talking about. That is basically the lighter version of mango ice. And so it's got a bit of the splashy look, but it's very subtle. It's much more subtle than the mango ice. Just a light and a lightness. So this one takes 3 skeins of the baby duck color, that yellow color, and then just 1 skein of this contrast color for the smallest size. And obviously there'll be more skeins for the larger sizes, but that is one of the garments. Another garment that we have here that is made with the flax and silk fine is this vest, or this kind of like top. It's kind of a tank top. So it's a V-neck tank top, and this one is called Berry Picking. It's designed by Kristen Tendai. Kristen is also a designer that we've worked with repeatedly. And so what Tabitha enjoys doing is she really, really likes making relationships with designers that are very good, very responsive, very consistent, and not just creative, because all of these designers are good and produce great patterns, but it's people that are reliable and that are really good to work with, so that we can produce very reliable and trustworthy patterns. And so Kristen is one of the designers that we've worked with repeatedly in order to make our collections. And so this is a tank top, V-neck tank top. There's a little bit of eyelets happening in here. Now, the one thing about this flax and silk fine is that it's been held doubled. And so the idea is that we can hold 2 colors together to make a marled effect. So you can see here the effect of the colors blending together. So if you wanted your piece to be more solid, you could absolutely just hold 2 skeins together of the same colorway, or 2 colors that are very slightly different. That would be very interesting as well. If you hold 2 colors that are very high contrast with each other, then they produce a much more high contrast salt and pepper sort of look. But this is absolutely one of the fun things that you can do when you have so many colors to work with. You can mix and blend and marl and hold things together. So that's a fun one. Here's another accessory pattern that we have here. This one is designed by Tanya Lusher, and it's full of very interesting textures. So I'm going to hold it up here. So it's kind of a lace texture. I love these cross stitches at the bottom. So this one has been knit from just 1 skein of Cashlux fine. So it's cashmere and it's superwash merino and nylon. It's one of our favorite yarns. This is a very popular yarn. This colorway is called Clementine. It's actually quite similar to the colorway of the year. Pantone picked a colorway of the year that they're calling Living Coral. This is the colorway from our collection that is pretty much the closest thing to their Living Coral colorway. Clementine, a couple of years ago, there was a gal at our studio called Misty that you guys might have worked with. And Misty always said that Clementine was the best color, that it went with everything. And this year, Pantone has picked basically this color for their color of the year. The other colorway that we have that is also quite similar to Living Coral, if you guys follow those Pantone Color of the Year colors, the other color that's very similar is our colorway called Tangerine. So those two, between those two, it's kind of this sort of colorway. But this is very, very lovely. It is knit lengthwise. So you start by casting on tons and tons and tons of stitches, and then you only knit for this much, and then you cast off, and then it's all done. This next one is ginormous. It's this one. This shawl is called the Seaside shawl. This one is designed by Christine Mary Chen, and it is knit with just 2 skeins of bulletproof sock. It's knit with just 2 skeins of bulletproof sock. You can see it is a lace shawl. I'm holding it inside out. Here's some of the lace patterning. I'm going to show you. So again, this is still very, very simple lace, and in between each lace section is just a panel here of garter stitch. So if you are at all interested in starting to do very simple lace or trying a lace project for the first time, this is kind of like a little bit of a lace sampler. So at the bottom here is a little bit of a feather in the fan kind of style of lace, and then it moves into a little bit of stockinette, a little bit of garter, a little bit of these lace columns, and then more lace. It's all quite simple, and it just produces quite a beautiful and dramatic effect. It's huge. For just 2 skeins of sock yarn, it's actually humongous. Here is another project that was designed by Cheryl Toy. Cheryl Toy is the designer who created the big Cabana shawl, the first shawl that I talked about. This shawl is also quite huge. This is 3 skeins of Cashlux Spark. So like I mentioned before, the Cashlux Fine is basically our fingering weight cashmere blend yarn, sock yarn. This one has cashmere and it has a tiny little bit of sparkle. Not a lot of sparkle, just a tiny, tiny little bit of sparkle. I don't even know if you can see it in the picture. Just a tiny bit of sparkle. This color is the tangerine color. So again, this one is the color that we said is very similar to that Living Coral color, the Pantone Color of the Year. You can see the difference here is that this is clementine. This clementine is a little tiny bit more pink, and the tangerine is a tiny little bit more orange. But the two of them, they're quite similar. But this is humongous center top-down triangle shawl. Now the last piece we have is designed by Deborah Newton. And again, this is another piece that is designed with that flaxen silk DK, that new linen and silk blend yarn that we have. It's knit closer to like a worsted weight. So it's it's nice because it's going to be like kind of like a warmer, more, it's a little bit heavier, so it feels like a very secure garment, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be overly hot to wear. So it's lovely because it's got this great weight to it, and this is quite it's big, sort of oversized pullover sort of style. You can see it finishes with some eyelets here. So it's like it feels like a proper sweater, but it's maybe like a proper sweater for somebody who doesn't want to wear wool or doesn't feel comfortable wearing wool. This is a wonderful, wonderful sweater here. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you guys today. We have that new yarn. We have new colorways for spring. We have new Party of 5 colors as well. And we have some exclusive kits that you can only get at stores. And I would love to hear from you guys about what your favorite part of the spring collection is. Is it one of the garments? Is it one of the colors? Is it one of the Party of 5 kits? I would love to hear about what you're most excited about spring and Sweet Georgia. I'd love to hear about that in the comments. So please do hit like if you like this episode, and please do hit subscribe if you'd like to see more like this. We come and we do this twice a year, basically, because we have collections come out in spring and summer and fall and winter. So we'll be doing another one in a couple of months, absolutely. So I hope that you guys subscribe and get to see more of that. And in the meantime, I come to you every Friday and I talk about knitting and spinning and weaving and dyeing and all the things that we're doing for Sweet Georgia and also the School of Sweet Georgia. So you can find us in all of those places. If you want to find us on Instagram, we're there as Sweet Georgia. You can also find me personally there as Felicia Lo Wong. And you can find me on Instagram also as Lo Meets Loom if you're interested in seeing what I'm weaving these days. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye for now.